What's up, algebra class? Welcome back to Unit 7, Solving Quadratic Equations. Please make sure you have your notebook, a calculator, and something to write with. 7.24, how do we solve a quadratic equation using the quadratic formula? The quadratic formula uses the numbers a, b, and c in the equation to calculate the roots. Let's take a look at this example. In this example, a equals 3, b equals 5, and c equals -7. After these numbers are inputted into the quadratic formula, the numbers are simplified. 5 to the second power minus 4 times 3 times -7 is simplified to 109. 2 times 3 is simplified to 6. Since our quadratic equations have two roots, one root is calculated with the addition sign and the other root is calculated with the subtraction sign. In this example, our roots are decimals. So the parabola crosses the x-axis at 0.907 and -2.573. Let's take a look at Miss Franks using the quadratic formula. Pay close attention to how she simplifies this expression to a decimal.
Yeah. Okay. Work. Do you work here? Get loose. Get loose. Okay. Yeah. I thought you could never get loose. I thought you could never get loose. I thought you could never get loose. Get loose. Get loose. I thought you could never get loose. I thought you could never get loose. What? I thought you could never get loose.
What's up, algebra class? For today's mini lesson, you're going to need a calculator because we are going to be simplifying what we saw yesterday to one number. And when we simplify this, we may get a whole number like 5 or 8, or we might get a decimal. This is the example we had yesterday. X is equal to -5 plus the square root of 17 divided by 4. And x equals -5 minus the square root of 17 divided by 4. Right now I'm going to teach you how to take this expression and simplify it to one number. Calculator. So the first thing we're going to do on the calculator is we're going to calculate the square root of 17. So I go to my calculator, I turn it, I'm going to type in 17, and then I'm going to press the button that has the square root symbol, and I get 4.12. Actually, I get 4.123105, blah, blah, blah. We are going to round to the nearest hundredths place, so my answer is 4.12. So the square root of 17 is 4.12, and here the square root of 17 is also 4.12. Now I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to add -5 plus 4.12. -5 plus 4.12, and then I need to divide by 4 because this fraction line means division. Divide by 4, and the answer is -0.22. That means the parabola crosses the x-axis at -0.22, which is 22 hundredths. Let's do the same thing here, but this time I'm doing subtraction. So -5 minus 4.12 divided by 4. -2.28, which is -2 and 28 hundredths. So my parabola crosses the x-axis at -2.28. Okay, so let's recap the 4 steps that we use when solving with the quadratic formula. Step 1, we identify the a, b, and c. Step 2, we substitute the a, b, and c into the quadratic formula. This is our quadratic formula. Step 3, we simplify. Step 4, we're going to use our calculator to find the roots. Your roots may be a whole number, but they may also be decimals. And that's completely okay because a parabola can cross the x-axis at a decimal. Okay, for our example, we are going to solve the equation 0 is equal to 3x squared minus x minus 2. A is equal to 3, B is equal to negative 1, and that's because there's no number in front of the x, but I know that there's an imaginary 1. And C is negative 2. Step 2, substitute the A, B, and C into the quadratic formula. This is my B, and this is my B. This is the A, this is the C, and this is the A. Step 3 is to simplify the quadratic formula. I'm going to start by simplifying the negative times negative 1. Negative times negative 1 is positive 1. Now I need to come to the side so that I can simplify the expression under the square root. Let me grab my calculator. Negative 1 to the second power is negative 1 times negative 1, which is 1. 4 times 3 times negative 2. 4 times 3 times negative 2 is negative 24. And then I need to put into my calculator 1 minus negative 24. 1 minus negative 24. 25. So that entire expression simplifies to 25. 2 times 3, 6. Since I have a plus and minus, I'm going to write one of my roots with the addition, and I'm going to write the other root with the subtraction. Step 4, I'm going to use my calculator and add the numerator and then divide by 6. And for my other root, I'm going to subtract my numerator and then divide by 6. Let's get my calculator out. I need to know what the square root of 25 is. Some of you may have it memorized, but I can just use my calculator. The square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 25 is 5. So I need to add 1 plus 5 and then divide by 6. 1 plus 5 is 6, divided by 6 is 1. X equals 1 is my first root. And then in order to calculate this root, I'm going to do 1 minus 5 divided by 6. 1 minus 5 divided by 6 is negative 0.66. So my final solutions, which are also my roots, are 1 comma 0 and negative 0.66 comma 0. So today you are using these 4 steps to solve quadratic equations. Your turn. Ms. Frank solved a quadratic equation. After simplifying, she wrote x is equal to 5 plus or minus the square root of 121 divided by 2. Simplify the expressions and determine the roots. Great job. After simplifying the first expression, 5 plus 11 is 16, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. For the second root, 5 minus 11 is negative 6, divided by 2 is negative 3. The roots are 8 and negative 3. Classwork. Complete the 7.24 classwork on Google Classroom. And then we only have 18 more days in the school year. If you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to Ms. Franks, Ms. Arlack, or Ms. Wilson. You got this.